Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Alex Express here with Angler Sports Center, and it's that time of the week, your weekly fishing report. And it's opening days pretty much tomorrow, which is going to be April 21st, trophy season. It's like Christmas for plenty of us out there. We've been waiting for this for months after the long winter. So we got some good news pretty much for you guys. Get your trolling gear ready, chumming gear ready, whatever you're going to be doing. It seems like we're going to have a decent few weeks here for our trophies, trophy-sized rockfish. Now, to get you on, give you some intel on what's going on. We've been getting a lot of reports of, mixed reports of people on the eastern shore rivers already seeing fish, rockfish spawning in the upper waters of the Chop Tank, Annapolis. Pretty much seeing a lot of fish up in those upper parts of the rivers and spawning, which is not a bad thing. They move in waves. You're going to be seeing fish pretty much some fish already up there. Does not mean it's going to be a bad season. They're still moving up to the Susquehanna Flats. So we're going to have post-spawn fish and pre-spawn fish. For us up in the upper parts of the bay, we're still seeing fish moving in. Now, what's going to be the trick? I can't really tell you like a full, what's going to be the hot thing for out there, but one thing that I'm going to tell you is that the water is not murky like previous years. We have semi-clear, regular regular color water for the bay, essentially. So the only two colors that you might want to try out there is going to be your white tandems and some chartreuse, items out there. Mix them up. Most of those fish are going to be hanging out either on the ledges of the shipping channels or the mouth of the rivers. Zigzag those ledges, zigzag the mouth of the rivers. Have a couple lures down deep, especially your umbrellas in 20 to 30 foot of water. And work them up so your tandems are going to be a little bit shallower. Make sure you stagger them so that you're not getting tangled up when you're making your turns. And like I said, pretty much early morning bite, depending on the tide that we get for Saturday. I'm gonna say if you can get out there early in the morning, you're gonna hit them on the upper water column on the main channel edges. Once we get the boat traffic in, you might want to move to the mouth of the rivers. Make sure you stay in the outside of the rivers where you are allowed to pretty much fish for them. So make sure you go to the DNR website, check the map, big old map they got, brand new maps that shows you where you can fish and where you cannot. The last thing you want for opening day is to get caught out there and get a ticket. So make sure you know your rules. Same thing from last year, pretty much one fish over 35 inches per person. So remember that's the main thing you want to remember. And pretty much when you're trolling, make sure you keep your speed from 2 miles an hour to 3 miles an hour, and that's going to be your magic speed. Now let's go over some of the stuff that you might want to use out there. I've been showing you guys this for the past month or so. So this is going to be a different look to your typical tandem. The biggest difference here is that you have a silicone skirt now on these guys. Now there's benefits to it. You're going to have pretty much more flash than your regular Mylar. It is going to be a little bit slimmer profile, and the biggest things that we've noticed with this, guys, is that jellyfish, if we do have a bad situation of jellyfish, is that you're going to be able to pretty much you're going to slide right off. Jank the rod on the water, they're going to come off. You don't have to brush them and do all that kind of stuff. So overall, less maintenance to them. More flash, less maintenance, more time you fishing. So that's one of them. Typical 4-arm umbrella with your 9-inch trailer here. It's going to be one of your biggest producers of your trophy season if you have it in the right water depth. I can't tell you so much how many fish, how many of my bigger fish have come on that umbrella. You don't have to go crazy big. This is your typical size that you'll see. It's a 15-inch arm, 4-arm with a 4-ounce parachute. And one of the underrated lures that you might want to try out there is a daisy chain. A daisy chain is pretty much an inline, inline pretty much umbrella almost, I'll say. You have a lot of those little teasers pretty much on there. that go inline, and then you have a nice 5 to 4 ounce parachute on the back of that. So those are going to be some of the things you want to try for this trophy season. You can play around with the colors sometimes, and have some holographic greens on there, and they might produce some more fish. Now, some a little bit new for you guys who want to try new colors and new stuff. For your teasers right now, we have a new item here, new soft plastic shads. This they're Gambler Big Easies. That's the name for them. They're 6.5-inch soft plastic, paddle tails. A little bit slimmer profile than your sassy shad, so it's going to create less drag. Two great colors here. We have one that's called Lime Truce, and this is probably one of my favorite ones, which is going to have the dip tail already in it. It's more of like a sparkle white with the chartreuse tail. So great things to try out if you want to try something a little bit different. They also come on this other natural color here, more of a greenish sparkle kind of color. So that's going to be something for you to try out, on your teasers. Mix and match and kind of play around with them, see what you can, if you can create a couple extra bites with that. So rockfish, trolling, you can also chum on the mouth of the rivers, those main points like you do in the summer. Luff Point, Pathickory Point, all those areas. You essentially catch either a little bit more smaller size fish, between the 20 to legal size mark. And surprisingly, over the past 2 years, we have weighted our biggest fish have come from pretty much chumming or chunking. I believe last year our biggest fish that we weighted in the store was probably about 45 pounds, and it came from someone chumming. So that's another option if you don't want to deal with the traffic out there. That's going to be one of your better options there. Jigging wise, you can, I will say, down the power plant typical areas, a little bit tougher this time of the year since those fish are not moving in huge schools. They're more of like a pack of 4 or a couple fish in the pack. They're mainly lonelier fish this time of the year, just trying to get to their spawning grounds and spawn. We're going to be getting some more bottom fishing around the shorelines here. As of now, people fishing from Sandy Point are pretty much catching a mix of rockfish, perch, and some channel catfish around the area, with morning being a little bit best, and also at evening being a little bit better for you guys from the shoreline. We haven't had any big reports of big fish that we know of right now being caught off the shorelines here, but now we also have some fresh oi, which will help you catch some of those bigger size, trophy size fish for the weekend. So chunk of fresh oi, bloodworms are going to be your best bet. Sandy Point, Annapolis, all those areas around here are going to be your best shot for you shore fishermen. Make sure you get early enough so you can, get a spot, because it's going to be a crowded one out there. So that's the deal for there. Now let's jump into some of your perch fishing. Perch fishing, pretty much is the spawn are pretty much over for white perch at this time. With water temperatures pretty much already reached that magic number. You're going to see a couple of the males still around the same upper parts of the creeks, with some females that are already spawned out, and those fish you can intercept on the way down. They're pretty much moving from the spawning grounds down to the main bay. So right now you can find some of the other bigger fish in a little bit deeper water moving down from the spawning grounds. Wayson's area is still holding a lot of fish, a lot of males. If you fish a little bit deeper, you're going to find some of your little bit bigger size perch. Greensboro is still holding a decent amount of fish, and we also have pretty much all the other rivers in the area holding a couple perch. And in the main areas of the bay, you can still find a couple perch. Not many, but great with bloodworms, grass shrimp, and some live minnows if you're up in spawning grounds. One other thing that we're going to be talking about right now is your shad, because up in those areas like Red Bridges, Upper Patuxent River, Tuckahoe Creek and whatnot, the shad are already moving up. They're not super heavy yet. In some areas they are, but because we have cooler temperatures than usual, they are not willing to bite as much. So as soon as we get some warmer temperature, those fish are already kind of pre-staging. They're going to be making a full run up in those smaller creeks, and you're going to see them pretty much become more active up in those upper parts. So Small spoons, Tony spoons, any kind of silver metal cast masters on the small size, with a tandem with a shad dart, like a 1/16 or maybe a 1/8 of an ounce. Shad darts will keep it down are going to be your tickets for you guys fishing Deer Creek up in the Susquehanna River. Those fish are pretty much up there, like I said, because it's cooler water. They're not going to be biting as much, but you're still going to be able to find some. For you guys in the Potomac, you guys are encountering some dirtier water, so the bite kind of turn off a little bit, but you're still going to be able to manage some of those shads up in Fletcher's Boathouse area all the way to Drawbridge and those areas up there. So that's a thing to do, for you to get out and try some fishing. Now, for you guys pretty much, doing freshwater fishing, pre-spawn situations right now for bass in most of the local ponds and lakes and reservoirs. Jerk baits are going to work great on the edges. Jigs pretty much are going to be pretty good. Some rattle traps, depending on how deep you're fishing. If you're fishing shallower water, the water warms up a little bit faster. So even some early morning topwater can work and produce for you guys. And that's it for your fishing report, guys. Make sure you hit subscribe up there. I know we kind of had some problems with our YouTube, so make sure you like and subscribe, and you guys have a good one.